Hey, good morning to you both. This has been happening for the last few hours. I'll show you the latest here behind me. This is just on the backside of 1PP with one of the entrances being here. Every time a cruiser goes in or a NYPD bus goes in, there are lots of chants. We're told by the NYPD that the crowd that's gathered here are really in support of the encampment and the protesters that had taken over Columbia and actually entered Hamilton Hall. They are here in support of those who were taken into custody, and we're told by our NYPD sources that those who've been released with a summons from last night's events at Columbia have actually joined in with this pen. It is fluid. There are people coming and going. So far, things have been peaceful, but we can tell you in the last 30 minutes, one person was taken away in an ambulance, but it doesn't seem to be that was violence related. Let me show you what happened at Columbia here and what this all stems from. Hundreds of members of the NYPD were called in to help remove the protesters in a show of force, making entry by climbing a raised stairwell that is called a Bearcat to make entry through a second-story window. It was a dramatic scene. Police officers made a perimeter around Columbia as critical response units cleared Hamilton Hall of those demonstrators who are protesting Israel's involvement with companies invested in Israel's takeover of Gaza. While this was happening, the actual students on this Morningside Heights campus were told to shelter in place. During that time, a number of Jewish students told us they did not feel safe on campus. Dozens of those protesters were then taken into custody. You can see them being put on buses. Columbia releasing a statement explaining that they believe a number of those agitators are not actual students at the university. Counterterrorism Deputy Commissioner Rebecca Weiner said that the NYPD involvement is twofold. There's a number of external agitators that they can confirm, people who are actually known to police and not students involved at Columbia. And then there was an escalation in tactics. Listen.
This is two students who are trying to prevent the hall from being broken into, being intimidated by some others, as well as some of the external actors that we have been talking about, making a barrier to be dragged into Hamilton Hall. Here is an example of two individuals breaking into windows. Again, the black bloc attire is something that we've seen in protest activity for quite some time. Barricades that are being dragged into Hamilton Hall. Again, people unaffiliated with the school who are assisting in allowing them entry.
What's interesting is all of this is unfolding on the 56th anniversary of similar protests at Columbia University during the Vietnam War. The NYPD is also being asked to be at Columbia and have a presence on campus through graduation, which is still set to take place on May 15th. Back out here live on the other side of 1PP, we are still working to get a number confirmed of how many people were actually taken into custody from the Columbia campus. That number is fluid. It keeps changing. We're told that the NYPD will be giving us an update at around 9 o'clock this morning. We're live outside 1PP. I'm Cala Rama, PIX 11 News.